Today we have invited Mr. Huang Runqiu, Minister of Ecology and Environment of China, to talk about building a beautiful China where man and nature live in harmony. After the briefing, he will also take your questions. Now the floor is yours, Mr. Huang Runqiu. Thank you very much. Good morning, friends of the media. It's a great pleasure for me to be here to talk about building a beautiful China where man and nature live in harmony. I will share with you the latest updates of our work. Today, I will put the focus on winning the battle against the pollution. For many years, our work has received a lot of attention from the circle of the media. And here, on behalf of our ministry, I'd like to say thank you to all of you. This year, we are celebrating the 100th anniversary of the foundation of the CPC, and we have already achieved the first centenary goal. We have already achieved that goal of building a moderately prosperous society of all aspects. And according to President Xi, whether it's in all aspects or not, we have to see whether we have well protected our ecological environment. On the one hand, we have to stick to the growth of the economic indicators, while on the other hand, we have to well preserve our environment. During the 19th CPC Congress, the tackling of the problem of pollution has been considered as one of the three critical battles. And President Xi, while attending many important national conferences related to environmental protection, has stressed once and again that we have to win that battle against pollution and also improve the environmental quality. The State Council has also published a document about a full-fledged protection of the ecological system and also fighting against the pollution. Many detailed plans have been elaborated under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core. All departments and authorities have worked under the guidelines of the central government and the State Council. We have tried our best to win the battle against the pollution in the air and in the ground. We are fully determined to apply all the strong measures in order to win that well-received results. During the 13th five-year plan period, we have set a lot of goals. Currently, all those preliminary goals have been obtained, and we have noticed a significant improvement with the ecosystem. In the meantime, we have also contributed to the green development of our Shaokang society, which is a moderately prosperous society for all. For the atmosphere quality for 2020, for more than 200 major cities, we have 87% of the good days with good air quality. That is 5.8 percentage points higher than the previous year, and that is higher than our expected goal by 2.5%. For the PM 2.5, those cities that have failed the standards, they have still improved their performance. And for the concentration of PM 2.5, even in those worst performing cities, they have seen the dropping of their indicators by 28.8% compared to the year 2015. And today we also have more than 80% of the water in good quality standard. And for the worst case of the water quality belonging to the category number 5, their proportion dropped from 9.7% to only 0.6%. Today, we're also promoting a safe use of the land blocks, and we have successfully concluded all those goals set during the 13th five-year plan period. For the 2020, we have 23% of coverage of the forest for the national park and reserve land. They account for 18% of the total national territory. Apart from that, we have also worked very hard to reduce the CO2 emission and also to fight against the climate change. The per discharge of CO2 for the unit of GDP has dropped by 18% compared to 2015. We have also investigated the degree of satisfaction among the public. This is a growth of 10.7% compared to the year 2015. This means that our hard work has been embraced fully by our public. For the first half of this year, we have been continuously working on the side of improving the ecosystem. Concentration of PM 2.5 for the first half of this year, down year on year by 2.9 percentage points. And for the good water body, compared to the same period of last year, has a larger proportion by 1.7 percentage points. An improvement of the ecosystem cannot be realized overnight. It's a long process that requires hard work from our side. During the 14th five-year plan period, we entered a new stage for economic development. And we have also ushered in a new chapter for building our country into a modernized, beautiful country, according to President Xi. Today, when we are building a modernized socialist country with Chinese characteristics, we have to stick to that modernization, adapted to our conditions. We pay equal attention to political, economical, and also the ecological development. Moving forward, we will continue to work under the guidance of President Xi to take well-targeted measures to win our targets, and also to take a lot of strategic efforts to realize our goal of preservation of ecosystem. We have to put green development on top of our agenda. We have to be well targeted while applying all the measures to realize our goals and continuously improved environmental quality. And we also would like to achieve the goal of building a beautiful China where man and nature live in harmony. We will do our very best to complete that goal. That is all for my briefing. Now I'd like to take your questions. Thank you very much for Minister Huang for your briefing. And now the floor is open for your questions. Before raising a question, please first identify yourself. Thank you. I'm from CCTV. Minister Huang, just now you have talked about the completion of the preliminary goals for the fight against the pollutions. And what is your impression about this fight during the 13th five-year plan period about the fight against pollution? What kind of experience have you accumulated by your side? Thank you very much. Talking about this critical battle against pollution during the 13th five-year plan period, I think that since the 18th CPC Congress, especially after the application of the 13th five-year plan period, ecological restoration and protection has entered into a fast track. We have first of all improved our awareness, and also we have reformed our measures to achieve the goal. I have 4 general impressions. I may use several keywords. First of all, we have unprecedented high awareness of the importance of this task. Since the 14th five-year plan period, the Central Committee of the CPC has attached great importance to this goal. And the words of President Xi has become a consensus of the whole society, saying that the clear water and green mountains, they are priceless treasures for the whole society. Today, people are much more mobilized to reach this goal of protection of the environment. And we have a lot of examples to demonstrate the prevalence of this idea among the public. And this has set a very good foundation for the upcoming application of the next five-year plan period. Second, personal feeling is that we have unprecedented, solid measures to achieve our goal. Since the beginning of the 13th Five-Year Plan period, and also after the 18th CBC Congress, for the air pollution, soil pollution, and water pollution, we have already adopted the 10 articles of regulation. And starting by 2018, we have started the war to protect the clearness of the water, soil, and air. For the major sectors, we help them to update their machines and also equipment so that they can minimize their discharge. For the coal-firing power generators, they have been upgraded and also improved. So today we can generate a lot of electricity and power in a much greener and cleaner way. And in the winter season, for the heating services, we have also updated the whole facility. In the past, we would see a lot of people burn the charcoals to get themselves and also the house heated. But today we have the centralized heating services while generating the heat in a much cleaner way. We have also tackled 270,000 issues related to the environmental protection. And talking about that fight to protect the clearness of the water for the municipality level cities, we have 98.2% of concentrated distribution of the water. And also for the urban water supply, we have cleansed the water starting by the source. For 150,000 villages, we have also supplied the villagers with cleaner drinking water. And today, for the arable land, we have removed also the pollutants. This is one of the important parts of our fight against the soil-related pollution. And third feeling is that we have unprecedented severe measures in the terms of the administration. Starting by the 18th CPC Congress, we have tightened the regulation on the plan of the legislation. We have also modified our legislation. We even say that it's like the legislation nowadays for the protection of the environment have the teeth so that nobody doing the wrong deeds can get away from the law punishment. And we have also diversified a lot of legislations to enrich the system of legislation, for example, detailed laws to manage the pollutants in the Yangtze River and also laws for protection of the oceans as well as the other natural resources. For the reforms, we have already ushered in more than 40 rounds of the reforms. At the provincial levels and also lower levels, they have reformed their system of law enforcement. And also at national level, we have covered the whole country with a system of licensing for the discharge of the pollutants. We have always paid a very close attention to the whole process of that discharge of the pollutants. And if there are people doing the wrong deeds, they will absolutely get punished by the law. And today, we have a very effective tool known as the legislation to help us to achieve all those goals to protect the environment. And the fourth impression is that we have unprecedented good results. Since I have already made the briefing before, I will not go into that details again. Over the past 5 years, we could say it's a golden period for us to achieve a lot of goals set before to protect the ecosystem, and also we have accumulated a lot of experience. First of all, and most important of all, we have always worked hard under the guidance of President Xi, talking about the beautiful China. Since the 13th Five-Year Plan period and also the 18th CPC Congress, President Xi has taken the lead to manage the whole protection work in the whole country. We believe that the protection of the ecosystem would be one important part during the modernization of the country. It's also one of the major strategic principles of our society. Ecological development and protection is an important idea and also principle of that whole thought of Xi Jinping for the governance of the country. Every time when we run into some doubts or when we have the problems, we would go back to what President Xi had said, and we can always find the answer. And second is that if we can improve the ecological environment, then definitely we can help to contribute to the improvement of people's livelihood. To do our work is not everything. We also have to see what is the reaction from the public, whether they are satisfied with our job or not. And luckily today we see that people are very happy with what we have done. And this also has made our work worthwhile. And third is the green development. We have to well balance that relationship between economic growth and ecological protection. If we want to make our economic side of development sustainable, then we have to definitely pursue that road of ecological preservation. Clear waters and green mountains are always the priceless treasures of the society. And we have to know that ecological development and economic development, they are not battling with each other. Actually, they are reinforcing each other. If we want to realize a good quality of economic development, then without any doubt, we have to protect the environment in the meanwhile. And next is that for the party side and also for the local government, they have to collaborate one with another. For example, at different levels of the hierarchy, first of all, the local commission, the local committee of the party organization should take the lead, and the local government will shoulder the major responsibility. And finally, I believe that we have to apply the most serious system and legislation to crack down all the wrongs, and they have to be non-elastic regulations in order to make everybody abide by that. Next question, please. Thank you. I'm from the CNS. The Clear Sky battle is one of the important parts of that battle against the pollution and to protect the environment. In recent years, we have noticed more days of blue sky. What is the next stage of development? Thank you very much for your question. I believe that all of you, my friends of media, you share the same feeling with this journalist. In recent years, we have more beautiful days in a year. And we have noticed the significant improvement of the air quality. We have clear and clear air. Today, in the evening, you can always admire the glitterings of the star in the very clear sky, and this is due to the hard work of the collaboration of different departments and authorities. In 2013, and since then on, we have published the 10 regulations about the air pollution and management. Several years ago, we have completed the task related to the 10 articles, and starting by 2018, we have published a 3-year action plan for the battle against the pollutions in the air. We have adopted a lot of effective measures. Some of the measures I have already mentioned before. For example, for the major sectors, we asked them to modify their facilities in northern part of China, where in the winter season we have the heating services. We will we have eliminated the independent burning of the charcoals by the household. And we have also collaborated with the transportation authorities to phase out those non-qualified diesel vehicles. And today, for the transportation of a lot of goods, we are more dependent on the railway compared to the past where we use a lot of vehicles. Today, this proportion of the railway-based transportation has risen to more than 9%. And we also have this coordination mechanism to protect the air quality. For different industries, we have differentiated policies. And in the meantime, we have improved the infrastructure for the management and supervision of these pollutants in the air. And we have promoted the development of the science and technology in order to tackle with all those pollutants and particles in the air. So today, we have successfully closed this fight to protect the blue sky. For the national level, in 2020, the concentration of PM 2.5 was 37. That is a drop of more than 280%. 28% compared to the year 2015. Because you live in Beijing for many years, I believe that you can better understand what I'm talking about. Last year, the concentration of PM 2.5 was only 38, while back to 2015, that was more than 80. In 2016, that was 73, and 2017, that dropped to 58. And then by 2018, this figure dropped to 51. In 2019, dropped to 42. And last year, the concentration of PM 2.5 dropped to 38. So that is a cut by more than 50%. The figure itself has dropped by 52.9. Last year, the total number of the bad air quality days was only 10. That's a significant drop of more than 80% compared to the year 2015. I will take the example of Chengdu city. In the past, the famous poet Du Fu has written a poem about the local environment of Chengdu, saying that when you stay at home in Chengdu, through the window, you can see the snowy mountain many miles away. And when I was in Chengdu, I've never had that experience. But today, those beautiful moments come back, and I've just received a beautiful picture taken by my friends. My friend in Chengdu City has taken this beautiful picture of that snowy mountain of Xilin. If you're lucky, you can even have a shot of more distant snowy mountain of Gongga, a very famous snowy mountain in the locale. Someone would say that today you have improved the air quality. Is it because that last year we didn't have the chance to go out because we had the COVID, so we have less circulation of the vehicles and also of the personnel? We have also studied the effect of the COVID-19 and reduction of people's traveling to this figure. If we remove 2 points from all those indicators, you can still see that we have made significant progress. In the meantime, we have to be aware that despite all those steady progress we have made, we still have to overcome a lot of obstacles and challenges in the future. First of all, in the Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei area and also in the northern China plains, the discharge of the pollutants into the air still remain at a relatively high level, and the concentration of PM 2.5 is still very high compared to the other areas of the country. And we still have to walk a long way before making all those areas mentioned before reach the standard. And second is the ozone concentration. This may be that for the nitride remains at a very high level. Starting by last year, for the ozone, for the first time, we have lowered that concentration of ozone. And third, for the air pollution treatment, we have entered into the deep water area.
好的，大家还可以继续提问。这边第一排黑色衣服这位。
谢谢主持人。黄部长您好，我是澎湃新闻记者。中央生态环境保护督查工作启动以来，社会关注度很高。请问主要取得了哪些成效？在打好污染防治攻坚战方面，发挥了什么样的作用？下一步有哪些安排和打算？谢谢。
And we should have the courage to tackle the most challenging problem. For example, the mix of the energy.
是习近平总书记亲自谋划、亲自部署。
We have to tackle the roots of the problem. That's why, for the next stage to come, we will continue with our hard work and we collaborate with other authorities to elaborate the action plan for the next phase to come.
以及20个省的回头看，从2019年开始呢，中央生态环境保护督查进入第二轮。第二轮的话呢，我们把中央企业、
Thank you for your question.
有关部门啊，也纳入到
You know that the Central Investigation Team is a major innovation of the system. It has also received high attention from President Xi.
那就是落实责任、落实要求、压实责任、解决问题。
Since 2019, we have dispatched the second round of the investigation team. We have not only the leaders from the central level, but also from the relevant authorities. We are about to complete the second and third round of investigation. You wanted to know the results of those investigations. First of all, the result of this investigation is that we can better hold this accountability system. First of all, we have to see that all the measures are in place. For our investigation team, we believe that we have to work under the guidance of President Xi and apply all the guidelines issued by the State Council and the CPC Central Committee. In our daily work, we always follow those important guidance from President Xi and the central government. Those are the principles and directions to follow in our daily work. What are the problems we have solved in the recent years? For the Qinling Mountain, we have solved the problem of the illegal construction of the houses, and also we have solved the problem with the Changbaishan Mountain. We will never lose sight of any existing problems. And for our investigation team on site, they have also urged the local government to take actions. We have to meet each other halfway, and everyone should contribute its own part, so finally we can realize the goals set by the central level of officials. We also have to hold this accountability
第二
system.
轮、第3批督查的时候，
I believe
我们
that
就
in
公布
your
了
daily reporting
曝光了
work, you
云南
have
昆明
already
长腰山
witnessed what has happened.
过度开发
Today,
严重影响
In
滇
all
池生态
corners of the
等
country,
40
the
个典
local
型案例
officials, they attest the
应该
greater
说啊，发
importance
挥了很
to
大的
their
积极
work
教育作
and
用。
also to
那
their
么第3个体会呢，就是
responsibility.
解决问题。
For
也就是推
those
动解决突
officials
出的
that
生态
are
环境问
not
题。
applying
我认
their
为中央生态环境保护督查之所以
responsibilities,
能取得
then
成
their
效，
names would be
关键之一的话呢，
revealed
就
to
是
the
始终
public
坚
and
持
they
问题导
will
向，
be punished.
狠抓发现问题，
For
推动问题
example,
整改，
this year
确保解决问题。一方
we
面呢，
have
是要
made
解决人民群
public
众身边
40
的
bad
生态环
examples
境
from
问题。
Yunnan
那么督查开
province.
始以来的话
In
呢
the mountain
我们
areas,
设立了
they
各种
have
举报，
over
群众的举报，身边的
cut
环境
the
问题。
trees,
那
and
么
that
总
is a
共有多少
kind
件呢？
of
总共有
action of
23.7
abuse of the
万件，
natural resources.
绝大多数的话呢，都
The
得到
work
了
of the
阶段性的
central
暂结或者是半结。
investigation teams
哎，
is
另外一
very
方面的话呢，就是
effective.
推动
The
重
reason
点
for that
难
is
点
that
问题的解决。
people working in
那么第一轮
those
督查
teams,
以
they
及回头
are
看
down
啊，
to earth
我们
and
交
they
办地方
always
各类
take the work
典型问题、重点问题、
in a
难
very
点问题
serious
是
way,
3294件，
and all those
那么
measures
90%的
are
话呢
problem
已经
oriented.
已经整改完成。
We also
也可以说啊，
receive
我们解决
the
了一批
reports
生
and
态环境
complaints
保护领
from
域
the
长期
public.
想解决
For
而没有
example,
解
for
决
a
的问题。
year, we have received
哎，我给大家举个例子，
270,000 cases of
深圳的毛泽
complaints,
河，
and most of
那
them
么
have
以
been
前的话呢，
settled.
被称为
And
过水
after the
河。
first round
深圳
of
的下水道，
investigation work and also the
那么
review work,
通过这几年的中央环保督查指
we
出问
have
题，扎实整改，
helped to
现在
tackle
已
more
经
than
是水清岸
3,000
绿，形
cases
成了居民休闲的
of
好去处。
severe
这个地方
problems
呢，
with the
我也想借这个机会
collaboration
啊，
of the
再强
local
调一点，
government.
就是我
We
们
could
说
say that
督查
today
问
we
题
have
整改
solved
过
a
程中啊，
lot of
我们
overdue
始终还是
problems.
坚持
I'd
依
like
法
to
依
take the
规，
example of the
要求
Maozhou
地方不搞
River
到一
from
些
Shenzhen
一
City.
阵风这样的运动式整改，
In the past,
确保整改
that
工作啊
was a
实事
heavily
求是，
polluted
落地见
river
效。
with really
第四点
bad
体会呢，就
quality
是
of
助
the
推发展，
water.
就推
And
动产
today,
业发
with the
展理
help
念，
of the local
助推高质量
government
发
and
展。
also the
最近这几
contribution
年
of
呢，
all
通过督查，
parties,
一批
this
违
river
反
has
生态
become
环境保护
a
法律法
very
规的项目，
clear place
被
where
叫
people
停
would like to
一
take
批
a walk
绿色
by.
生态产业加快发展，
During this
一批传统产业
settlement
得到了
process,
优化升级，
we abide by the law
实现
and
了
we
生态
ask the
环境保
local
护
governments
和推动
to
经济高质
take
量发展的
adapted
专
measures
利。
in order to tackle the
那么比如
problems
说一些地方
in accordance with the
贯彻新发
local
展理念，
requirements and
哎，
needs.
这个
Today, we
控
also
制
have to
两
urge
高
all the localities to
盲目向
transform
项
their
目盲目上
mindset
马
of
的态度
development.
不够坚定。那么
In
今年的
recent
话呢，
years, a lot
我
of
们的督查
projects going against
这
the
方面的工作
requirements of the
这方面的内容
legislations and
作为我们督查工
regulations
作的重点。
have been shut
但是从
down.
这个地方我也要强调一点，
That is
督查的
how we
不是
balance
不
the
让项目
relationship
上马，
between the
不
economic
让发
growth
展，
and
而是
ecological
要通过合
development.
作盲目上马，
For some places, they
项目
have pioneered
进一
in
步
this
优化
path of
产业
pursuing
结构
high quality
或能源进入
development.
走绿色低碳、高质量的发展道路。
And
在这方
in
面嘛，
other
我
places,
们将给地方
we see
整改
that they
啊
are more reluctant in
留足合理的时间，
persuading
直到
those
地方
unqualified projects
先立
off
后
the
做
track.
不搞急转弯。
So I'd like
下
to
一步啊
stress here
我们将持续开
that
展好中央生态环境保护督查，特别是
we
继
are
续将
not
固抓
refusing
长江
all
大
kinds
保
of
护，
projects.
推动
We
环保
are
领域生态保
only
护和高质量发展，以及实现碳达峰目
refusing
标
those
才提出啊
unqualified projects, those
党中央的
projects
决
that
策重
will
大决
do
策
us
部署
no
啊
good,
纳入到督
especially
查
in
范围。
terms of
谢
the
谢。
preservation of the ecosystem.
下一个问题，
We will always give enough time to the local government so that they can do their job in a very progressive
新
way.
闻记者提问。
We understand
知道
that
应
things
对
will
气候
not be
变化与污
accomplished
染防治具有很
overnight,
好的协同
and
效应。
we also
目
would
前中
like
国
to
采取上
avoid
面交易已
the
经启动数个
possible
月，请介绍一下1个月来的
sudden
一些情况。
shift in their
碳市场
policies.
在碳达峰碳中和
And
的过程
in
中发挥了什么
recent
作用？
years,
全国碳市场
our
建设
country
还
has
存在
also
哪些
made the
挑战？
pledge to the whole
下一步
world
如何推
about
进？
the
谢谢。
peaking of the carbon discharge
这位记
and
者朋友的提问
also
啊，
the
你这个
carbon neutrality.
这
So
几
we
个问
will
题
do
的话
our
呢，都
best.
是我们在工作中啊，
Next question, please. I'm from the Fangmian News.
遇到
You
的
know
一些
that to
比
cope
较
with
突
the
出的一些
climate change,
问题，也是我们长期思考的问题。
the treatment of the pollutants can also be an integral part.
控制和减少温室气
It's
体排
been
放
some
的一种
time that we have launched this carbon trading market. What is the current progress and what will be the future development plan? Thank you very much for your question.
和一个重要的政策工具。
In our daily
那么
work,
1个月前啊，就7月16号啊，全国碳市场正式启动
those
上
are
线交易了。
typical issues that deserve our long-term
全
reflection.
国燃
For
煤
the
发电行
trading
业
of the
发电
emission
行
of
业
the CO2,
2162
actually
家
it's
纳入到了
the application of the market-based
那么
mechanism to reduce
那么总共
the
覆盖了
total
多少呢？
discharge of the
45
CO2.
吨
It's also an
二氧化碳
important
排放量。
way to help us
自启
to
动以来啊，
achieve the goal
全国碳
of
市场
peaking
运行
carbon
情况
dioxide emission
交易
and
价
also
格
the
呢
carbon
也从
neutrality.
首日开
1
盘
month
价的
ago, we
每吨
have
48
officially
块
launched
上升到
the
昨天
market of the
收盘价
carbon trading
哎
for the
51
first
块
period
7毛
of
6每吨
engagement
开
for
始1个
the
月来啊，
coal-firing
全国碳市场
industries. In
排放
total,
配额累计交易量达到了
more than
702万吨。
2,600
那么累计
industries.
成交额的话呢是
They are
3.5 亿。
included,
哎，这是1个月的成绩。
and this means
那么
that
国内外的实践都表明啊，
24.5
和传统
billion
的行政管理手段相比，
tons of
这个
carbon
碳市场呢
dioxide
既
has
能
been
将
covered.
温室气体排放
Yesterday,
控排
at
责
the
任
closure of the
压缩
market,
到企业，又能够为减碳
the price of per ton of the
提供经济激励
CO2
机制，
reached more than
降低全社会的减排
57
成本，
RMB.
带动绿
The
色技术
accumulative
创新和产业投资，
transaction volume is 355 million RMB in China over the past month. Compared to the traditional regulative measures, the carbon market can not only hold those discharges accountable, but also give us incentives in terms of the economic side. And finally, it can also help to boost the development of the science and technology related to the green development. This is an important tool to reach our goal. Starting by 2011 in Beijing, Shanghai, and Tianjin,
应该说全国碳市场建设
深圳
它还是一项重大的制度创新。
in total, 7 provinces and municipalities, we have
但对于
applied
全
those
社会来
pilot
说
programs
它还
for
是
the
一个新鲜事物啊。
trading market for carbon after years of experimentation for the liquidation and also the distribution of quota, as well as the payment. We have accumulated a lot of experience. All those have set great foundation for the official launching of this national market for the trading of the carbon
碳排放权交易管理
dioxide.
改进条例的
Still,
出
this
台
is a new
修订完善相关
experience
的
for
配套
all
制
of
度
us.
和技术规范体系，这个制度建设非常重要。
So we still have to make a lot of improvements, and we have to admit that until now,
第二呢，
still there are
是
a
强化
lot
市场的
of
管理，
shortcomings
加
about the
强
system.
碳排放数据
So
的
moving
质量管理，
forward, we will
强化相
collaborate
关制度的
with
执行
relevant
落实，
authorities
加强对
to
全国碳
do
市
the
场
following
各
work.
个环
First
节
of
的
all,
监
to
管，
improve the
有效
system
控
and
制
mechanism.
市场风险。第三呢，
For
是要拓
example,
宽
we
拓宽
will
范围
ushering as soon as possible those regulations
发电行业
for
碳
the
市场运行良好
transactions
的
of
基
the
础上
carbon
我们会
market. The
我们将
system
会
or
扩
the
大
institution is
碳
the
市场的覆盖
basis.
范围，
And we
逐步纳入
also
到
have to
逐步纳入
improve
更
that
多的
mechanism for the
高排放的行
voluntary
业，
transaction of the
也
carbon.
将逐步
And
丰
second,
富
the
我们的
management
交
of
易
the
品种、
data
交易
related
方
to
式
the
和
transaction
交易
of the
途径，
carbon.
提升市场的
For
活跃
the
度。
all
我们会
stages
一步一步
of
往
this
前推进。谢
transaction,
谢。
we have to lower the risk of the transaction. And third is to enlarge the coverage.
中间第二排。
For the
中间
power
这位
generation sector, we started this
谢主持人，海报新闻
trial,
记者
and
提问
gradually we
固
would
体废物污
enlarge
染
the
防治
coverage
是
of
污染
this
防治攻坚
market.
战的重要内容。
In the
我国
future,
自
we can
2018
expect to
年
see
1
that
月
this
起
market
开始实
cover
施洋垃
more
圾禁令，要
big
求到2020年底基本实现固体废物的零进口。请问进展
sectors
情况
with
如何？
huge
谢谢。
discharge volume, and we will take all the
好，
work
谢谢这位记者
step
朋
by
友的提问
step.。Next question, please.
党中央、国务院啊，高度重视禁止洋垃圾入境、推进固
Thank
体
you.
废物进口管理制度改革这项工作。
For the solid pollutants management is also an important part of our work. Starting by 2018, we have
是生态文明建
forbidden
设
the
的标志性
importation
举
of
措。
those imported foreign garbages. What is the progress until now? What will be the future plan? Thank you very much. The State Council has attached great importance to the forbidden importation of the foreign garbages and waste. President Xi has also made a lot of guidelines and declarations. We made it clear that the ban on the importation of the foreign garbages, they are a very important part of our current work of the protection of the ecosystem. We have to work together to realize this goal, to ban the entry of the foreign garbage into the country. We have first of all elaborated an action plan and regulations. Until now, we have worked 4 years in a row, starting by 2017, to complete all the set targets. And by the end of 2020, we have already put the total volume of the imported foreign waste and garbages to 0 according to the schedule. And the foreign countries can no longer treat the land of China as their landfill. We have basically taken 3 measures. First of all, we have made a very careful plan. From 1 year to another, we gradually narrowed down the total volume of the importation of the solid waste from foreign countries. And for several rounds, we gradually shut down all the channels to import those foreign waste. And we have also raised this threshold for the importation. For the 4-year period starting by 2017 to 2020, we have gradually cut the volume, first of all to almost 9 million tons and finally to 0. So today we put an end to that history of being the landfill for the foreign imported wastes. We also have specialized programs. We have investigated more than 2,300 factories and enterprises to see whether they are still breaking the law to import the foreign waste. We have shut down a lot of unqualified factories, and more measures are going on. For example, the smuggling of those foreign wastes by sea. And today, inside the country, we have improved our capacity for the recycling of the solid waste. Inside the country, we are doing the waste categorization, and also we are guiding the enterprises to improve their standards of production. Today, more materials can be recycled. Today, per year, we have 370 million tons of recyclable materials. That is more than 100 million tons more compared to the previous level. Since the first day of this year, we have officially banned all the importation of the foreign waste. We have entered a new stage for the battle against the solid waste. Moving forward, we will work together with the other authorities to improve the capacity of waste recycling and also to battle continuously the smuggling of those foreign waste. Thank you. Next question, please.
另外还想问一下，就是 COP15 大会目前筹备的情况怎么样？作为东道国，中方对此次大会有哪些期待？谢谢。
Good morning, Mr. Huang Runqiu. I'm from the Xinhua News Agency. Biodiversity conservation is also an important part of our work of ecological
生物多样性方
protection?
面的
What
报
is the
道啊
current
新闻啊
progress
很
with the
多啊，
biodiversity
成了这个街
protection?
头巷议的
What is
热
the
点话
future
题啊。
plan?
你比如
Another
说，
question
报道的云南
is
野象
about
团
the
北巡，
preparation of the
大熊猫受威胁
COP15
的程度
because
从
China will
濒
be
危
the
降低到
next
低
hosting
危，
country and
微笑
what
天
is
使长江
your
江豚啊
expectation
频
for
繁
this
现身。
coming event?
另外的
Thank
话
you
呢，
very
三江
much
源
for
三江源国家
this
公园啊，
important question, and it's
雪豹
quite
也在
pertinent
多地出现。
to talk about this issue
更
now.
有呢，
In
青藏高原的
recent
藏
days,
羚
a
羊啊，
lot
种
of
群数量大幅增加，从7万头到30万头。
media are reporting
看过
about
这个
the
青藏高原
biodiversity.
啊，
For example,
万
the
羊齐
threats
奔
to
的壮
the
丽景象啊，
giant
又
panda
出现了。
have dropped, and
这些
also
让
the
人暖心的
dolphins in the Yangtze River Delta, as
消息啊，
well
都表
as
明
the
我们国家的生物
traveling
多样
of
性
the
保护啊，取得了
elephants
扎扎实实的成
in
效。
the province
这些
of
成效的取得的
Yunnan.
话呢，
And we
我认为
also
主要还
have
是3个方面的原因。
noticed a lot
第一
of
个方面的话呢，
white-colored
就是全社会
leopards
对生物多样性保
and
护的意
also
识
the
显著
deers, antelopes in the
18大以来呀，
Tibetan Autonomous
随着习近平生态卫思
region.
想深入
A
人
lot
心，
of antelopes
那么
are
全社会
galloping one
对
after
生态环境
another.
保护，当
Those
然
are
也包括
touching
生物多样
moments
性
for
保
all
护
of
的
us to
意识
see.
啊，在不断
And
的增强，
according
责
to
任也在不
the
断的压
current
实。
status, we can say
人与
that
自然
for the
和谐共生的
biodiversity
理念啊，
preservation, we
越
have
来越成为
progressed a
人们的普
lot
遍共识。
due to several
各
reasons.
地区
First
各
of
部门也
all,
在采取积极
the
有
whole
效的态度，
society has raised
培育
their
引导
awareness
支持
about the protection of
社会各界参与生
biodiversity
物多
since the
样性的保
18th
护。你比如说，
CBC
在我们青藏高
Congress.
原，
We
开展
have
的生态讲谱，
made the
农
guidelines
牧
of
民不
President
再是
Xi
大自然的受屈者。
a consensus of the whole
而是吃上了生态保护
society.
饭。
People are more
当它的野
aware
保原、
of their
林保
responsibility
原、
in
湿地
protecting
保
the
护原
ecosystem
成为雪域高原
and
的生态
also
位置。
with the preservation of the
2016年以来呀，
biodiversity.
西藏、青海
Local
两省啊，
governments and
西藏、青
authorities,
海
they
啊，
are more
累计为群
active
众提
in
供的生态岗
cultivating
位有90多万个。
the
农牧民
activities to
征收
engage
啊
more
是80多个
people
亿。
to protect the biodiversity.
第二呢，
For example,
保护地
in the
处
Tibetan
体啊，逐渐
Autonomous
完善。
Region,
我国
those
先后出台了多项
nomadic
与生物多
people,
样性
they
保护相关
are
的法律法规和制度。
changing for a new
你比如
job.
说，
They become the
我们生态
keepers
保护
of
红
the
线制度
natural
啊，
reserves. They become the
以
guardians
国家
of the
公园为主体的
wetlands
自然
in
保护
the
地体系的
plateau.
建设啊。
The
截
Tibet
止到
and
2020年
also
底啊，
the
我
Qinghai
们初步划定了生态保护红
provinces,
线，
they have
哎，
created more than 900,000
在
jobs
陆域国土面积的比例啊，
related to the
不低于20%。
protection of the ecosystem.
我们
And
各类
second is
国家
that
级
we
自然保
have
护
a
地
better
现在已
system
经有
for the
1.18万个
classification of the
国家级
reserves. We
自然
have a
保护
lot
区
of legislation
有
in place.
474个。
For example, the
那么
red line
各类自然保护
system
地的面积呢，
and
也
also the
占到
national
陆域
park
国土面积的
system.
18%。我们
By
是
the
提
end
前
of
实
last
现了联
year,
合国生物多样
we
性公
have
约
set
爱
the
知目
red
标，就
lines
是10年前啊，爱知目标所确定的
of
17%的目标要求。
ecosystem
我们
and
90%
those
的
confined
陆地生态
areas
系
for
统
the protection
和
inside the red
85%
line,
的
they account for
重点野生动物种
no
群
less than
动植物种群
20% of the
在
total
我们的
national
保护地里
territory.
面都得到了有效妥善的保护。
We also have a
部分
huge
更
number
新
of
因为
natural
物种的野
reserves
外
and
种
also
群
the
啊
regional
也
reserves.
在
They
逐步
account
恢复
for 18% of
2020
the
年，我们开始
national
了
territory.
实施长江10年禁渔计划，这也被称为啊史上最
We
严的禁
have
渔令。
achieved
第三
that
是
goal
监管和
set
执法的力
by
度不断加大。
the
我
UN
们会同有关部门啊，
ahead of
开展了绿
schedule
灯自然保护地
and
强
for
化监
the
督专项行
protection
动，
of the
遏
herd
制
of
无序
major
开发建设活
species.
动啊对自然保护地的影
We
响。
have also made a lot
那
of
么截至
progress
2020年底
for
啊，
some
我
endangered
们累计发
species.
现国家级自然
We
保
are
护区
doing the restoration work.
5503个重点问题，大部分
For
已经得到整改。
example, to protect
有关部
the
门也开
fish
展了碧海
species in the
海洋生态
Yangtze
环境保
River
护专项执法行动，
area, we
严
have
防外来物
launched
种
the
入侵，
ban of
严厉打击
fishing for 10
珍贵
years. That is the
珍贵濒危
longest
野生
period
动植物
ever
的走
seen in
私，
history of the
更在
country.
哎
We
对
also
相关
have
违法犯罪行为啊已
specialized
经形成了高压的态势。
specialized projects.
那么正是由于我们
By the end of
在
last
生物多样
year,
性保护方面所开展的这样一些
accumulatively,
扎扎实实的工作和取得的成
we
效啊，
have discovered and unveiled more than 5,000 problems in those natural reserves, and we have already settled most of them. We're also fighting against the intrusion,
我国的昆
the
明召开。
invasion of
那
the
么这次会议的主题呢，就是
foreign
生态文明
varieties
共建
and also of the species.
共同体。那么，我们也这个
Because we're always down to earth in our daily work. today our results and the job realized have also been highly recognized by the public in the whole world. This year, we're about to organize the summit, the COP15 of the summit on biodiversity in Kunming City of Yunnan Province. And this year, for the first time of this COP conference of the summit, we put the high attention to the harmonious coexistence of human and nature. It also demonstrates that China would stay side by side with the rest of the world to protect the biodiversity and also the ecosystem. The first phase of COP15 will be organized between the 11th and 15th of October this year, and President Xi has sent a lot of invitations to the foreign friends to join this event with us this year. Taking this opportunity, I also would like to give the invitation to all of you. Please come and join us in the COP15 of the Biodiversity Summit in Kunming this year. Next question, please. Thank you. Good morning, Minister Huang. I'm from the People's Daily. According to the 5th plenary session of the 19th CPC Congress, we have to deepen our fight against the pollutants in the environment. What will be the future plan and what does it mean to deepen efforts? Thank you very much for your question. You have mentioned the 5th plenary session of the CPC's 19th Congress. During that meeting, we have made detailed plans and regulations and policies to improve the quality of the environment and win the battle against the pollutants. This year, President Xi, while attending the 29th Collective Learning of the Political Bureau, has stressed the importance of winning the battle against the pollutants and solving the key headaches related to the environment in people's daily life so that people can feel the benefits from this fight. Because we have to be really determined to win the battle against the pollutants, we have to work hard, and now we are mentioning a new word, that is the deepening of the efforts. We should understand that today we have entered a new phase of this fight, and this means that we have to move our work up the ladder to a higher level. We have to admit that today in our daily work, we still have a lot of things to be improved. First of all, we have to deepen our understanding of the current picture, and also we have to deepen our capacities, promote our measures, and also enlarge the coverage of our measures. So during the 14th five-year plan period, according to the CPC Central Committee, we have to deepen our efforts in the fight against the pollutants. So we have to improve and polish our capacities, and in the same moment to enlarge the coverage. Moving forward, if we want to improve the quality of the environment and preserve the ecosystem, first of all, we have to cut the discharge of the waste and pollutants. According to President Xi, during the 14th five-year plan period, one of the key targets for us to realize is to reduce the discharge of the CO2, so that we can realize that green development of the economy and realize the transformation of economic growth. This is a key phase for us to do the work. On the one hand, we have to reduce the discharge of the pollutants. On the other hand, make our development greener. In the past, we will just fix
那么从而实
the
现了
problem once
减
the
污和
problems
降
are
碳
there.
协同增
And
效
now we
这个是
have to
总的抓
directly
手
go back to the
减污降碳
roots
这是
of the
总的抓手
problems and start from the very
那么为什么这么
beginning
说呢？
to
因为
avoid the
降低碳
possible
排放啊
appearance
是一
of
举
those
多得的
problems.
事
For example, we have to
哪几个呢？
tackle the source of
一
the
是有利于
pollutions,
倒逼
like
和
we
推
will
动
go to
经
the
济
high
结构的转型
polluting
绿色转型
industries,
推动高质
ask
化
them to improve their
就是我们所
system
说
of
的有利
production,
于推动
upgrade their
污染
facilities and
污染的源头
infrastructures.
治理实现降碳
So
与污
today
染物
we
排
can
放
reduce the waste
改善生
and
态环境
reduce the
两个
discharge
协
at
同
the
增
same
效
time. This
因为
is the
二氧化
guiding
碳排放
principle.
和我们传统污染物的排放它是同源
If we
的
can reduce
它都
the
来自于
CO2
化石能
emission,
源的燃
then
烧
we
和利
can
用
also
所以
receive
我们减
multiple
少化
benefits.
石能源的利用
Because when we reduce the
增加
carbon
绿色能源
dioxide
的
and
利
make
用
it our
那么
goal,
在降
then
低二氧化碳
in
排放的同
return,
时啊
we
我
can
们也降
force
低了
all the
传统污染
industries
物的排
which
放
are
这
highly
就是
pollutant
一石两亮
to
协同效应
improve their system
第
of
三呢
production.
是有利于减缓气候变化
And
带来
at
的
the
不
same
利影响
time, we can
这主要是尤其是异常和
say
极端的
that the
气象条件的
CO2
影响
emission
减少对
and
人民
the
生命
other
财产
forms of pollutants, they come from the same source, that is the burning of the fossil fuels. If we put a ban or if we urge the whole society to reduce the utilization of the fossil fuels, then definitely we can go to the other good direction, that is the utilization of the green energies and the renewables.
就是 减污降碳强生态
Today we are also
减污呢
under the threat of a lot of abnormal natural disasters and climate conditions. If we can reduce the CO2 and also to reduce the waste, then our environment and more specifically the climate would also be more favorable. Moving forward,
就是要增加好水
we can use several keywords to describe the next step.
增加水生态
To strengthen the ecosystem and also to reduce
就是要巩固
the CO2
和拓
emission.
展土壤污染防治攻坚战的成果
If I can
让老百
elaborate
姓
on
住得放
that,
心住得安心防风险呢
improve the air quality
安全的底线切实化解
and also to collaborate with relevant departments to reduce the pollutant
就
discharge,
是前面我们提到的进一
increase
步降低
the
碳排放
proportion of good
应对
water
气候变化
bodies
有效应对气候变化
and coordinate
强生态
the
呢
system of the water and the soil, and also to tackle the pollutants in the soil, the solid wastes.
实际上啊 减污降
And
碳
we also
强生
have
态
to lower the
这三个
risks
方面
related to the
各有特色
environment so that people
有
can
密
have
切
more
关联
insured
相互作
daily
用
life,
相互支撑
and we can
系
also
统增效
lower the
它们构
risk
成的是一
of
个
the
整
whole
体
environment.
因此啊
We
我们
also
在
have to
工作中啊
reduce the
我们
concentration
是
of
把
the
它
discharge of
作为一个有
CO2.
机的整体统筹起来考虑
And
减污降碳强生态
Talking about the strengthening of the ecosystem, we have to strengthen the capacity of law enforcement and stick to that red line and never
一方面的话呢
trap
就是要
across
更加
that
突
red
出通过
line.
治理系统
So
治
we
理
have several keywords to guide our future work. They are reinforcing and they have their own features. If we put all of them together, they will form a very complete system of guidance to orient our work in the future.
时间区域
Talking about the detailed works, for the 14th five-year plan period, we have two major
以
directions.
法治的力量
First of all,
保护生态环境
we have to put more focus on the systematic and root cause related management. And second, we have to apply the science-based approach and adopt more targeted measures. We have to work harder.
谢谢主持人。每日经济新闻记者提问。农业农村污染治
For
理
a
是污
specific
染防治攻
problem,
坚
we
战的
have
标
to
志性战役
apply
之一
the well-targeted and adaptive measures, and we have to respect the timetable, and at the same time apply this tool of the legislation to solve the problems. Due to the limit of the time, I will allow the two last questions for today.
非常好的一个问题啊，我们农村的污染治理啊，
Thank you.
农村的环境保护啊
I'm from the Daily
在
Economic
整个环境
News.
保护体系里面是非常重要的一个
The management of the pollutants in the countryside is also a very important part of the battle against the pollutants. What is the current progress? And against the background of today, how can we better improve the environment in the countryside so that we can always have the beautiful backyard? Thank you very much for this excellent question. You have mentioned the pollution in the countryside. To admit, it's a very important part of our work. President Xi has also stressed in many scenarios that whether we can achieve our goal of building a Xiaokang society, we have to rely on the efforts and contributions of the farmers. Together with Mara, we have published years ago the action plan of the management of pollutants in the countryside, saying that by the end of 2020, we have to make 3 reductions and 4 improvements. And first of all, we have to guarantee the safe drinking water. That is the base for all the other work to come. And 2, management is the management of daily waste and sewage. And 3, reduction for the water application and fertilizer utilization and pesticide application. Improvement of water body quality, utilization of the comprehensive water bodies, etc. We have set a lot of goals years ago during that conference for publication of this action plan. And now we can do our review, how much work we have realized and what is the progress. By the end of last year, this battle against the pollution in the countryside, for the 8 major indicators and 22 major tasks, we have completed all of them. For 150,000 administrative villages, we have improved the living environment for the villagers. For the daily waste, we have a coverage system of more than 90%. That means the concentrated management facilities for their sewage and waste. We also have set up the drinking water supervision system for a huge number of villages, and basically today we have set up the discharge standard for the daily sewage discharge. And preliminarily we have set up the list for the supervision of the bad water quality rivers. We have also improved the utilization ratio of the feces of animals to 76%, and also we have recycled the straws of all the plants in the farmland. In the meantime, we also take it as a basic work. We have carried out a detailed investigation of the arable land to know the total surface and also their current status quo. We have also divided the whole task into smaller pieces to be distributed to different local governments. So we have curbed that degradation of the land quality. Fujian Province is a pioneering province. This year, by April, I visited the province and I visited the city of Sanming. There, we had very beautiful villages surrounded by mountains and also by rivers. There, people have done an excellent job in preserving the culture and ecosystem. Their daily production is integral with the protection of the environment. They have definitely interpreted that saying clear waters and green mountains are priceless treasures for all of us into real actions and reality. And they have also strived for the vision of President Xi to build a beautiful China where man and nature live in harmony. We have countless examples in the country, and we only have limited time today, so I cannot go through all the examples. We also have some other piloting program bases where people can try out a lot of new measures and mindset to harmonize the relationship between man and nature. Moving forward, we will continue with our work of management of pollutants in the countryside. For example, the large surface polluted. We will collaborate with MARA to improve the efficiency of utilization of fertilizers and reduce the application of pesticides. For the sewage treatment of the villagers and also the treatment of the bad quality water in the rivers. We will also help to restore the ecosystem and also how to improve the value added attached to the primary agricultural products. The last question for the day, please. I'm from the Beijing Youth paper. What have you done to mobilize the whole society to join your work? And what is your future plan? Thank you. Thank you very much for your question. President Xi has stressed in many occasions that this protection of ecological environment work is a job for everyone, and everyone has to contribute its own part. We cannot separate the success of ecological preservation from the contribution of the whole society. In recent years, we have done a lot of work that can be concluded into the following points. First of all, we have gradually raised awareness of the public about the importance of the protection. We have the Biodiversity Day and Low Carbon Day to organize the campaigns. During those days, we spread the knowledge about the protection of the environment and also the guidelines made by the President Xi. We also have organized a lot of activities with the participation of volunteers. We have also published a lot of literature works and also organized the exhibitions with the paintings to share with people the importance of the protection of ecosystem. So today, at the household level and also at classroom level, we have a lot of measures in place. Second, we invite the public to join the supervision of the work. People can always make a complaint about the pollution around their home. And we believe that is like a gold mine. We have to remove all the obstacles in the complaint channel. Since the 13th five-year plan period, we have received more than 2.88 million cases of the complaints. First of all, we asked the local governments to tackle those problems revealed in the complaints by the public, and later on, at a higher level, by the central government, we can also revise the results of the treatment. For example, in Shanxi Province, there was a steel factory. They have caused a lot of problems, like the noises and also the dust. Many people are really unhappy about their work, and they have complained so many times, up to more than 1,000 times. So the local government has immediately taken measures to shut down the factory first, to suspend their work. We have the measures in place to lower the noise and the dust discharge during the production. By the end of last year, finally people stopped to complain about this factory because they have corrected their deeds. In 2018, together with other 5 authorities, our ministry has published a good code of conduct for the public. And we also have started a campaign of building a beautiful China. A lot of pioneers and volunteers, they have set a very good example for the rest of the society. Together with the Ministry of Housing and the other authorities, we have made a list of more than 1,000 enterprises. For all the names listed, you can go to pay a visit in place to see what is their current action for the protection of the environment, whether they have corrected some wrongdoings. So with all the above-mentioned measures, the whole society has been mobilized and their awareness has been significantly improved. We have yielded so many results, and those results can never be achieved without the great support from the circle of the media. So again, I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you sincerely to all of you, and I hope that in the future you could continue to pay high attention to our work. Thank you. Thank you very much, Minister Huang. That is the end of today's press conference. Thank you for joining us.